You voted for Trump, you didn't. I want you to answer this question. I'm gonna try to phrase it as well as I can. I'll start like this. Are we okay?
You mean the country?
Aha!
February 20th.
So again, you're 2026. Right now, we are okay. If you think America right now, no matter where you are politically, is okay, raise your hand. Thank you. I will tell you, in every group I've been in front of, from far right to far left and everywhere in between, when I ask that question, damn near no hands go up or one hand goes up. And I'm going to get to you, my friend. Thank you for that. For those of you who don't believe America is okay right now, why? Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Why? Why are we not okay?
I would say this isn't a black or white issue. You're not like okay or
No.
you're like the Roman.
It's your answer, whatever you think.
You're not like the Roman Empire just before Alaric sacked Rome or something like that. We have a lot of things that are worrying. A number of them are we are spending ourselves into oblivion and no one is addressing it. That's one problem.
Too much debt.
There's no discipline. That's one thing. And the other is just sort of the level of discourse. I mean, Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill used to have lunch once a week. And even though they were of different parties, they managed to get a lot done that greatly benefited this country. You don't see that much. You don't see that much now. People tend to, there's always been contention in our country. There never was a time when there wasn't. Maybe the first week of the first Washington administration, but after that, there was always contention. There are different interests that conflict. I mean, the 10th Federalist writes about that and says that's a strength. We have factions that can say what they want here, unless you're on a campus, and are conservative. But this, I think we had an erosion of social capital. There's less respect for authority than there was when I was younger.
Stop! My God, that's great stuff. Hold a lot of that.
We don't have confidence in our elections, and that's being undermined from the top. And we don't know what to do with that. We're not ready to fight a civil war, but we're also not willing to make big changes.
Why are we not okay? Give me something else, guys. Why are we not okay? Everybody jump in.
I think we're not okay because the current administration, the current president, has made it okay to commit violence. That's an answer to things that you disagree with.
Political violence in this country is on the rise. Why are we not okay? For those of you who don't believe we're okay, there's no right or wrong answer. Why do you feel in your gut, in your heart, we're not okay as a country, no matter who you are politically?
Make this pretty clear about how I feel is in the White House. I feel we have a dictator. I'm very concerned about what's coming out of the White House and his administration about the midterm elections, that he may declare some type of state of emergency and take over ballot boxes and whatever, and that's not the way the country was founded. It's not the way we're established. And I was involved in government earlier in my life in political campaigns, all the Democratic side, so I'll make that obvious. But government works best when it's split. When you have a Democratic or Republican president, you've got a Congress that's split, or you have a House and a Senate that's one run by the Republicans and one by the Democrats, because they have to compromise.
Yeah.
And when you have, whether it's right now we're all run by the Republican Party, but if it's the Democrats, I moved here from Virginia, they just passed redistricting to eliminate.
Yeah.
So both sides are at fault, but it works better when there's both sides split. So.
Come to you. Go. Why are we not okay?
I personally believe, as a sociologist, that there's so much fear and that we're not okay because people are so full of venom and hatred and don't feel safe.
You said fear. Fear of what? What's that fear? Where does that come from? What is it?
A lack of belief that our government or the environment that we're living in is there to protect us and give us the kind of security that we need to thrive.
And we've just become such a divided society that, and the threat of violence is increasing along with that. We have a president who I think could be accurately described as the divider in chief. The last time our society became this divided, we were at a war for 4 years.
Stop! So I believe that. Again, I said this before Trump ever first got elected, back when I was in Congress. I said we're a nation at each other's throats. We haven't been this divided since just before the Civil War. That was 12 years ago. Do you all feel that way? Like we are in a dangerously divided point now? Again, forget about Trump for a moment. This country, are we really in a scary divided moment right now?
Yes.
You feel that way?
Yes.
Yes.
Who feels, is this caca talk? Am I crazy? Are you crazy?
What is frightening to me is that people can see the same images on TV and have completely different perspectives.
Why is that?
On what they just saw. on
Why
the
is that?
news.
We don't trust the
How,
media.
how do you have a conversation with someone when you see ICE agents murdering an innocent person and someone you're related to says, no, she hit that man with a car and he had every right to shoot her.
But
How
you-
do you argue with that?
Well-
You're seeing the same video.
Well, but let's get to the first point you raised. People can watch anything right now that's happening in this country and see two completely different things. What's going on there? Where does that come from?
Brainwashing.
The media.
Did you say George Washington?
Brainwashing. The media.
Whether you support or oppose it, I'm going to be willing to bet that all of us in this room, myself included, when we woke up and found out that we are attacking Iran, all of us either went to our favorite TV channel or we went online to our favorite places where we get information. We're not going to the same places, are we?
No.
Go, here.
You know what I couldn't find is
Grab that.
What's the objective? We went into war last night. No one from the White House or anyone said what the objective was. I didn't hear that anywhere.
Is there anyone in the room right now that heard an objective from Trump?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I just didn't hear it.
Go.
I don't settle on just one channel. I try to get views and see where people are coming from and a perspective.
Do you live on this planet? Oh my God.
I have to hear the other side. I'm a Republican, conservative. I need to hear the other side.
If I could deliver one message to the country, it would be that.
But can I add something to
Yeah.
that about the division?
Yeah.
I use this example, a lot of people have heard this. I was in 9th grade when JFK was killed, and was in school, came home, my parents, devout Republicans. My mother's totally in tears. And I said, "What's wrong, Mom?" And she said, "They killed our president." And my father was depressed by the time he came home. I don't think that would happen.
Oh my God, no. By the way, developing a man crush right now.
That's great.
Now again, no matter where you are on Trump, right? He's in our bedrooms, our kitchens, he's everywhere. But what you just said is so freaking true. Think about it. and there are folks in our little circle here who voted for him and folks who didn't vote for him. Doesn't matter. Think about this. If he died in his sleep tonight, half of this, the entire country would not react that way. And it wasn't just JFK. Jimmy Carter, if Jimmy Carter died in office,
That's right.
the vast majority of the country would have mourned. Ronald Reagan died in office. Trump dies in office. Half the country's going to be out getting drunk and celebrating. Half the country's going to be distraught. What happened? What happened?
Event occurred, and it changed how we as a society relate to each other, and it's called
What?
social media.
Oh.
The way it changed was, instead of getting our news, our information from the 3 major broadcast channels, you could go to the channel that channeled the perspective that you relate to. As a result, people increasingly lost their ability to have an evidence-based universe.
Okay, stop for a moment. Hold that thought. I want to pounce on that because I want to fire back. Does anybody want to counter what my friend just said? Back in the good old days with Walter Cronkite, you had ABC, you had CBS, NBC. All of God's children watched ABC, CBS, or and we trusted Walter Cronkite. Truth. Anybody want to fight back against? Because I hear what you're saying, but I want to fight back against that. Go.
Well, I'm a conservative, and I was in journalist for 44 years. I would say 90% of my colleagues on the news side of the Wall Street Journal voted left.
Thank you.
So I'm used to being a minority. I worked for the Philadelphia Inquirer, which was also left. I mean, I would imagine the overwhelming number of journalists there voted Democrat. So I'm used to seeing things from a different perspective. If you notice, you say, well, what about ABC and CBS? Well, when my friend and former colleague Barry Weiss was appointed to be head of CBS, and she suggested that maybe every news story has more than one side to it, and that maybe CBS should start recognizing that in its coverage, people melted down. Shocking.
So let's stop here because this is a good one, and I want us to get into this. When I was a former member of Congress, and I went on the ABCs and the CBSs and the NBCs and the CNNs, I always knew as a Tea Party conservative Republican, I was going to get a perspective left to center. They were going to disagree with me. There are a lot of people in the nation right now, there are probably people in this room unbelievably pissed off about Barry Weiss taking over CBS and what Ellison now is going to buy, taking over CNN. And all of a sudden now we're seeing, oh my God, MAGA or right-wing people taking over what used to be CBS and ABC. Understand, and you can oppose that, but this world that we all grew up in of Walter Cronkite, they were of a political bent. Back then, we'd go and get our news, but we were getting our news from folks left to center. Where do you, guys like, why did Fox News even come into being to begin with? Because people like me back in the day, and now MAGA conservatives, didn't feel like they had anyone in mainstream media who talked for them. Every time they turned on CNN or ABC, it was left of center. Every study in the world that's ever been done, 99% of journalists in this country are left of center. Fine, I believe in a free market. Now you're seeing the right getting power and taking over some media.
But what happened to professional journalism, objective journalism? Professionals who may have had a personal idea, but were committed to reporting as objectively as they could.
Was Walter Cronkite objective? I don't mean that to be a funny question.
It doesn't matter whether he was objective or not. We had a belief in him. We had a basic belief that what we were getting was truth.
I find this fascinating. Does someone want to respectfully respond to that? Come on now! We all had a belief that what Walter was putting out there was.
But, you know, when Barry took over at CBS News, I mean, it was
Stop, hold the thought. Everybody knows who Barry Weiss is, right?
She's the head of CBS News now.
Yeah.
She, you know, noticed and said, we're not really reporting stuff that most people want to hear, or that we're not really doing a very good job. CBS News is, and all the network news stations are pretty much irrelevant. I mean, who do you know under 60 who watches any of them? Basically no one. Their market share has gone like this because people don't trust them.
Well, what you first said is true. People under 60 don't want. I don't know that we'll have a CNN or an MS, now it's MS Now, around it. We may not have cable news in another 5, 10 years because the younger generations don't watch them. But I want to get to this point. We believed, what's your first name? Barbara. That what Walter Cronkite was saying was true. But what if you didn't have Walter's beliefs? Where would you go and where would you turn?
I don't think he conveyed his beliefs. He reported the news. Objective, evidence-based reality, truth, if you will, that a journalist could assemble.
Do you believe Walter was objective, just a fact-based journalist?
I think he was a lot more objective back then because there was the idea in journalism, speaking as a former journalist of some decades, that you tried to be fair in reporting the news.
Do you think
what you covered and didn't cover, that was dependent more on your preference or whoever was directing the news department's preference?
Do you think Barry Weiss has a bias?
Certainly has an idea that, it's like, 2 legs good, 4 legs bad is a bad approach to covering news.
Is there a bias, when you turn on, I'll keep calling it MSNBC, does MSNBC have a bias?
Yes.
Does Fox News have a bias?
Yes.
Does CNN have a bias?
Less.
Less?
Does the New York Times have a bias?
Yes.
All God's children got a bias?
Yes.
So how do you then deal with that?
You compare it to reality. You go with evidence and you attempt to assemble an evidence-based worldview.
Get back to how is this dividing us though? Because you also, Bob, raised, we don't have 3 choices anymore. We have 3 million choices. And in another 10 years, we'll have 30 million choices. I don't know how you stop that. So what do we do about that? And there are a lot of people that believe that's what's so dividing this country. Do you guys believe that? Like social media is dividing this country? Or you say whatever you want to say.
Well, I think the point we're missing when we talk about Walter Cronkite, it was an hour.
Say it.
It was an hour. We had the news at 6 o'clock. He got the news in. He didn't need to fill 24/7 and give us all the salacious points that make us want to tune in and not change the channel. And I think that's what draws us in. They're feeding what they think will keep us on the channel, and it's building up.
It's that's a great point. It's like, Barbara.
She go, gotta go 60s. But what issue I have with the news today is because, as Amy said, they got to fill up the 24/7. You're going to get, depending on the network and the show, you're going to get 5 minutes of the news, and then they bring out their panel. And it doesn't matter whether it's a hurricane, or whether it's a shooting, or whether it's Minnesota, or you usually get the same 4 or 5 people who tell you their one-sided view, whether it's liberal or conservative or whatever, and they go from there.
Just was thinking about the fact when money started to drive entertainment and money, the profit motive overcame truth in news. and things like that. And so I think that the more the ratings got higher, if it was more controversial, start with Rush Limbaugh. Why
Do
was
I
he?
have to?
Yeah, why was he? Rupert Murdoch had a smart idea. He got somebody like Limbaugh to be so controversial, and what did he get? He had a big audience.
Well,
money.
Well, okay, big audience. Fox News always has a huge audience. MSNBC generally has a really big audience. There's something different going on with Fox News that I'll explain in a minute. But generally, you in this country right now, you find much bigger audiences on the far right or the far left. My God, if I would get in front of any network executive Monday and say, give me a show, I'm going to pick a co-host who utterly disagrees with me, and every night of the week we're going to look at an issue and we're going to have a respectful conversation about that issue, and we're going to listen to each other. And I'm telling you right now, in America right now, no network in the world would grab that show. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see boom, boom, boom. I mean, what does that say about us? Right here. The entire country should be doing this kind of thing. We're not. There's more incentive and money and ratings and I'll get more clicks when I tweet something that says, Trump's the greatest or Trump sucks. But if I just say, now can we have a really interesting conversation about what just happened in Iran? I'm not going to follow that. Have we always been this way? And now it's like we're all kind of out of the closet and we've got social media and a million channels and politics is in our face 24/7 every day. Have we always been this way? Is it worse?
It's a lot worse. Ed Sullivan would regularly get 30 million people. When he had the Beatles on, he had more than that.
Now you're pulling out Ed Sullivan.
Okay, but wait a minute. A substantial portion of America watched his show. They watched it at the same time because you couldn't tape it. They all did it together.
Right, but how many other options did they have?
Well, there weren't. Now there is.
Here's my phone. I can watch anything.
Fox
on my
News gets a couple of million viewers. What's his name? Our friend Steve Colbert was getting 1.9 million people. Johnny Carson got 10 to 13 million people every night. Stephen Colbert had 1.9 million until he became suddenly popular. He's a decent guy. His kid and Mark were in the same class for 12 years. But it's just much more fragmented. There aren't the common experiences. When I was a little kid in school, you'd come in and people would talk about what they'd seen on television the night before. And there were only 3 channels, and there weren't that many programs.
So we don't have common experiences anymore.
Yes.
We don't experience the same news every day like we used to. We're all on our phones in our own little world. What the hell are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do about that? You got an answer?
I think that the next generation will get better at it, and the generation after that will take it for par for the course. That's the way society will work in a couple of generations.
Now, you, my friend, have the floor. We are okay right now. Take it away. Explain yourself.
We are not any part of the 546 that are having the problem. The 546, you were one of them.
Oh, in Congress.
In Congress.
And the Senate.
And the Apprentice, and the Supreme Court. They're dealing with it as they're dealing with it. And anybody that wishes to drink whatever Kool-Aid each one of them is pouring, that's fine too. I was born in 1951. Okay, on the same day that the Korean peace talks began. Don't know if that did something to me or whatever, but I was in 4th grade when John F. Kennedy was running, and I had stickers all over my bicycle because I was a Catholic kid. And here the Catholics were finally going to get a chance. And they did. But surprises? John F. Kennedy never said that he was going to have a bunch of Cuban guys invade. But I woke up one morning and I found out that we had used people to invade Cuba. And then, before I know it, got a missile crisis going, and my next door neighbor looks over and says, "Shine your brass buttons up for war, kid." It's,
So are you, let me go back to where you started.
Sure.
You believe we're okay, because the people are okay. It's
340 some odd million of us
people.
are doing fine.
It's what's going on in DC.
Well, that's what they always do. Whoever is, the guardians, as it were, of the country, the elected, the primary people responsible for the government. I've always believed and always been a big reader of Tom Paine. Okay? I'm pretty good on the difference, the distinction between society and government. And I can render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, unto God the things that are God's. I can separate them. They don't matter because none of them have ever affected my life. I'm 75 years old. I've got to do everything I wanted to do. I've been around the world. I've served in government. I've had a great time doing whatever I chose to do, whatever I chose to do it, because I was one of the mass that could do. I grew up. I was told and I believed I could be anything I wanted to be and do anything I wanted to do. It was up to me. And I simply did it. Now, I spent 2 years in Afghanistan, last 7 years before I retired in Europe. Only thing that ever stopped me was my own imagination.
Respond to that, guys. It's an interesting perspective. Government's messed up, but generally the American people are fine. We're doing our thing.
Post office is still running.
Post office is still running. Who buys that?
I did not have the same opportunities that white men in this country have had.
Stop, hold that thought, respond.
Golda Meir was an American who wound up over in Israel and in the midst of running a war. We can do whatever we want to do. Catherine the Great. It's up. I was taught, and I listened very closely to what. Remember, I was raised by the World War II generation and remain of the World War I generation. This stuff happens.
Do you believe that women in this country generally have had the same opportunity you and I have had to live our lives the way we want to live them? Black men, black women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women. Same opportunities that we've had.
The opportunities are all there on paper. Everything is there. What does the individual do about it? The individual, you can't be an individual. That's the beauty of being America. You really can't ever be an individual and exercise your rights if you don't have the unity in the nation. Without, when I was working for the Corps of Engineers, you can't, special operators and all that stuff, they can't do anything without a big army there. You've got to have a united, large, powerful force. Then within individuals, then have freedom.
So you'd argue, my friend, that we've all had the same opportunity. It's up to each of us to do.
No, there's chance and everything. We're all chances there. You look at, it's how you look at your life. That's all I can tell you.
Respond to that.
We were not all raised the same way. I was raised as a woman with three sisters, that I could do whatever I wanted to, but I suffered obstacles along the way because I was a woman, not because
Give an obstacle.
I suffered sexual harassment as a young teacher in my 20s. It was very confusing and devastating when I told my conservative father, who was, by the way, a very nice man, about it. He just that's just something you girls have to go through.
Somebody else jump in on this. Go.
So fast forward to, saying we're okay, fast forward to November. So you came here to vote, and you had to use paper ballots because the administration decided that it was a national emergency. You had soldiers out front. The paper ballots were taken away by the administration to be counted because it's a national emergency. Are we still okay?
When I see it, I'll deal with it. That's how I've dealt with life since 1951.
Go.
Well, first of all,
Now we're heating up a little bit.
you have got to acknowledge
What?
that this guy right here is a well-read and very thoughtful guy. And I
Agreed.
Anybody who reads and reviews Thomas Paine has got to be a thoughtful guy.
Agreed.
That said, I have to respectfully disagree that we are okay.
Explain.
And well, to use his metaphor, we're okay because we can go out and do anything we want. And while that may be true, unless you live in Minnesota, or less so in Minnesota, I maintain that we're not going to be okay if this country's divisiveness and partisanship and lack of tolerance permits an authoritarian takeover, and we become essentially a dictatorship. Your life will be less okay if that happens.
What is Trump?
Well, many people don't like it when I say this.
Hey, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah,
I don't give a damn.
okay.
My God, if I want everybody in this room saying what they believe, and if we're not big enough to listen to that, there's the door. Go.
So I call him a malignant narcissist. And I think that he is a con man. Ultimately, he's a very brilliant con man.
So, but what's interesting, I think, for our conversation is, how did he get to be president? Where was this, I know, where did we get to that we put him in power twice? How'd that happen?
I'm not really sure. I lived in the DC area during 2015 when he first came out.
Keep going.
And so those of us who lived in the area paid more attention to those kinds of things.
So if I asked you succinctly, how the hell did this country elect him? How would you answer that?
Con man, he's a con
He
man.
conned us.
Yep.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking this mic, I'm going around for 30-second answers.
Democrats.
Okay, do me a favor, hold that thought. How did Trump come to be? Go.
Good businessman.
Good businessman. How did Trump come to be?
The lesser of two evils.
The lesser of two evils. By the way, love it. Fist bump. I'm loving this because I want honest answers. The lesser of two evils. How did Trump come to be? Go. How did he come to be?
He's a symptom of the lack of good leadership from the two parties.
Good answer.
How did Trump come to be?
I'm gonna say con man too.
How did Trump come to be?
Our political parties did not prepare for this last election properly.
Did you say parties or party?
Parties.
Our political parties produced him. They did not prepare enough. Go. How did he come to be?
I'd say he's a populist with a message that the immigrants are taking jobs and taking your tax money, that resonated with a lot of people.
By the way, what you said at the start is true. I'm a populist. Trump is an effective populist. How did Trump come to be?
We are subject to information control that leads to trauma-based mind control, and half the country doesn't listen to the mass media, and therefore didn't get that aspect of it. Trump spoke to them, and as a result, they voted for him.
How did Trump come to be?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
By the
I'm
way,
listening.
that's an honest answer. How did Trump come to be? Come on.
I'm at loss for words because I agree with Barbara here.
You still don't, you
I
can't
am
figure
in
it.
shock that he is here and for a second term. I
Do-
mean, I just don't get it.
Do me a favor.
Did we not watch the,
Yeah.
what was that TV
Now she's
show
doing
where
it.
he fired everyone?
The
I mean,
Apprentice.
yeah.
The Apprentice.
I couldn't even watch more than 2 or 3 episodes of that. It was so, I don't know, just juvenile.
By the
And-
way,
And
this-
then we look, and we vote in a juvenile president, not once,
Twice.
but twice. And just back to, I became disillusioned with our TV channels, our news reporters, whatever, back when the Trade Center happened. And I have to admit, I wasn't really a student into news
Yeah.
and all before then. I went the medical route. My head was in science.
Thank God. Thank
But
you.
my daughter was going to college in Canada, and when the Trade Center happened and everyone's glued to the TV set, and I thought I had facts. I thought I knew what had happened here in America, from our trusted news reporters and TV stations. I called my daughter in Canada, and she started saying, well, the BBC is saying this, Mom, and this is the
Yeah.
news we're getting
Yeah.
here. She actually knew more accurate news than America received.
Hold that thought. In all my travels, most Democrats that I asked this question of, how did Trump come to be, especially the further left they are in the spectrum, they have a hard time answering that. A lot of them don't know. That's interesting. How did Trump come to be?
I think he signed a deal with the devil in the form of the Republican Party, which had taken over the ability to elect anybody, and he was willing to lead the parade.
He took over the Republican Party. How did Trump come to be?
I don't know.
How did Trump come to be?
He was the protest vote. He was the protest vote for everybody in America that said, I don't like the Democrats and I don't like the Republicans. And even though he's running as a Republican, he really isn't one. And he's saying, I'm not them. I'm not part of the political class.
Good answer.
The question that you ask of me, this audience, is a question that I ask many of my friends repeatedly. How is it to be understood that America, home of the brave, land of the free, how could Americans vote this guy in? And the only thing I can come up with is it's an indictment of our educational system, a lack of critical thinking.
How did Trump come to be?
Did the best he could with the tools in front of him.
Did the best he could with the tools in front of him. Interesting answer, putting it on Trump. Interesting answer. I'm going to start with you. People despise him. You probably know people who despise him.
Yes.
You get ready because I'm coming at you, Beth. Do you understand why people are so hate him and fear him?
Yes.
How would you describe what that is? Go ahead and grab it.
Personality of a bully,
Say,
Personality of a bully.
his personality of
The
bully.
way he approaches issues, the way he even approaches people as a bully.
A lot of good, decent Americans, my kind, voted for him twice. A lot more voted for him the second time. Tell me why. Put your best spin, honest spin, without making them sound like they were a bunch of racist, bigots, tools, people who were conned. Good Americans voted for him. Why? Can you give a good reason?
Well, I go back to the Democrats.
Now, I don't want to hear that now.
Wait. I go back to the Democrats because, like that woman said, a lack of quality candidates that really represented the true feelings of both sides of this country.
But you think it was a lot of people voted for him just because the Democratic candidates suck?
Yes.
Okay, but the people who voted for him, who still believe in him, and if you're in this room and you don't think half the country still loves the guy, you're crazy, go out with me for a week, right?
He spoke to people who didn't feel that they were being heard.
Do me a favor.
What?
Stand up. You don't have to, I'm coming to you.
Harassment.
Everywhere I go. And again, I'm a political mutt. I'm a huge never Trumper, but I'm a conservative. Everywhere I go, that's generally the answer that his supporters, because I still talk to hundreds of them a day, tell me, Joe, nobody else paid attention to me. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans. This guy comes along and says, I hear you. You buy that? Do you understand that reason? Do you disagree with that? Do you understand that reason?
Well, he
I
said
think
it,
it's a
but
big part.
Huh?
he said it, but I don't think he really heard people. I mean,
You don't think it was genuine?
I do not.
Grab.
Their emails are phenomenal.
Whose?
The Trumpers, the Republicans. I get emails, I am the most important person they've ever met. And my zero contributions are so important, but they touch you. They make you feel like you're important. I'm afraid to get off the list. But I do think that their machine, the Republican Trump machine, has figured out how to make you feel like you better give, you're gonna be on the bad list. I understand you. But the people I know that did vote for him, their lives aren't any better.
Oh, stop, hold that thought.
Mhm.
Do they think their lives are better?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
You've had conversations.
I'm not talking about the people that live with us. I'm talking about people that I interact with that might have been on SNAP benefits. No, their lives are not any better.
Does anybody?
But they want to forgive. They want to forgive. You know, their religion teaches them to forgive. They get these kind emails that say, I hear you, you're important, you're my patriot. It's heartbreaking.
So in 2024, when Joe Biden, way late, got out of the race because he was way too old, he should have gotten out way earlier. Kamala Harris is handed the baton. Every single day for 3 months, I was in a battleground state campaigning for her. Every single day. Crazy Tea Party Joe Walsh out there for Kamala. And damn near everywhere I went, in every battleground state, people who don't pay attention to this stuff like you and I do religiously, we call them lower information voters, but that's such a lousy way to put it. They're living their freaking lives, they've got kids, boom, 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 they pay attention to politics once or twice a week, they vote, blah. Every single one of them told me the same thing. In every single state, they said to me, I'm paraphrasing, they said to me, Joe, pardon my language, I know Trump's an asshole. I know he's a jerk. But Democrats, man, they look down on me, they dismiss me, they don't understand me. The vast majority of them knowingly voted for the asshole over the party that they viewed was looking down on them. And I gotta tell you something, guys, this is not anecdotal. This is everywhere I went, everyone gave me a variation of that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah, no respect.
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yeah.
And when people would tell me that, who am I to say, oh no, don't vote for the asshole, vote for the elite snob. Right?
Who has no background.
Good question.
Yeah.
Now that does say, Barbara, to your point, my new political party, the Democratic Party, by the way, I don't know how long I'll be a Democrat. It's a day-by-day thing. They got issues. Because you said it, who said populism? You said populism. We've been living in a populist moment for a long time. What does that mean? Just crudely, that means a lot of Americans, everyday Americans, are pissed off at a political system they don't think is meeting their needs. They're pissed. Man, most everybody who's been voting in these special elections since Trump got sworn in, and they're voting for Democrats, and Democrats are winning, they can't stand the Democratic Party. They're pissed at both parties. They just are scared to death at what Trump's doing. We have a both-party problem in this country. Do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
We probably need more than 2 parties. How do we get off of this? Because, I'll say, unlike the older days, we have way too many people on this road, a road of hate, where, and it didn't used to be this way, where I hate the person I disagree with. And I hear it everywhere I go. That guy who disagrees, my neighbor, that's my freaking enemy now. He's my enemy. We didn't used to talk this way 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago. And because most of us now are on that road, and I would argue that MAGA, Trump supporters, are further down the road, but Dems and the left are on the road too. This is why, once you're on that road of hate, once you dehumanize the gal you disagree with, it's so easy to commit an act of political violence.
Did you know how that happened?
Go, take it.
It would be easy to oversimplify because it is not a simple situation. There are many factors at play, but I maintain that a major factor was that we elected a divider-in-chief who normalized this kind of
But
behavior.
stop! And I love what you're saying, and I don't mean to interrupt as I interrupt. Would you agree this was going on before Trump ever came on the scene? It was building.
A matter of degree. He's on TV, he's got the benefit of the bully pulpit, and so he normalized.
Hold that thought. Where are you guys on this? I would argue this was building way before Trump. Trump's the product of it. Were we building to where we were hating each other and divided and go before
Yes.
Trump?
Oh, I think it goes back to Saul Alinsky and his rules for radical. Alinsky was the guy that Hillary Clinton did her thesis on.
Yes.
And, he says, in life, most things are 60-40, but if you want to move people and make change, you have to make them 100-0. Okay? And isolate it, attack it. And that was, I read that book after Obama was elected, before he became president. And all kinds of things just became clear looking through that lens. It's not, I'm 60% right, you're 40% wrong.
Hold that thought. Hold the mic. Hold that thought. Was Barack Obama a divisive president?
I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Tell me why. By the way, say what you want. Why was Obama divisive?
I think he was, I'm a human resources executive, and I think he was dividing more on the basis of race than he should have.
Who else thinks Obama, hold that hand, Bob. Who else thinks that Obama was a divisive president? Red, tell me why.
I think everything he did, he was intending to divide us, and he used different ways to do it, race being the prime one. But he turned his Department of Justice against his enemies. He had Attorney General, as he said, was my wingman, and went after their perceived enemies. And it was the first major step in dividing this country. We were slowly coming up, but he turned it on big time.
Does anybody want to respectfully or not so respectfully respond to that? And if it's not so respectfully, I'll jump on you. Jess?
Can I join in?
Well, what are you doing back there?
Yeah, this is just,
Grab that.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this respectfully, but I would really go deep inside, really deep inside, and ask myself the question, does this have something to do with the fact that he's African American?
No.
Hey, Jess, I want to stop you for a sec. Because I'm not taking that mic away. You stand right there. I want you to tell me what you heard from these two guys, why they think Obama was divisive. I want you to tell me argue from their perspective. What do you think you heard?
You know, I think I'm a pretty fair-minded individual. So it's really difficult for me to think that his Department of Justice was biased in a way that was in a way that weakened the department as it is now. And Jim, I'm trying to think of what you.
Hey, Jess, let me make it easier. Let me ask you a broad question.
Yeah.
good people who you know, who are friends, colleagues, neighbors, whatever, who believe Barack Obama was divisive. How would you explain why people think Obama was divisive? From their, give me their view, as best as you can, as nicely as you can.
I'm struggling with that.
Because, I appreciate the answer.
I'm struggling with that.
Try.
I found him to lead a little left and center, not progressive, a progressive democracy. I'm sorry, progressive Democrat. That's why I'm sitting back there, because I can't talk today. And so I think that what he offered, because he could have not been the president of the United States. He could have chosen to be a president that enhanced African American values.
I love you like my sister. And by the way, for the record, Jesse and I met a week and a half ago. A week ago. But I know you can tell me why good people believe Obama was divisive. And there's a good reason why even if you don't agree with it, I know you know good reasons why people would think, Bob, and if you want to jump in and help, I want somebody, and I don't want to put all the heat on Jesse. A lot of this country believes Obama was divisive. There was a time I really thought he was divisive. I could still make the argument that he was divisive. I believe he was divisive. There have got to be people in this room who can explain why without saying, oh, those are just a bunch of bigots and racists who thought he was divisive. As someone who talks a lot about this, I've always gotten that from people. Obama was an elite snoot who looked down on people.
Harvard educated?
Harvard educated, right? All of America goes to Harvard.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the ones that go to Yale.
Well, but this, by the way, let me make a point, because this is really cool, and this is so important, and this is what we got to get to. This is somehow, praise Jesus. I'm a Catholic kid, it's Lent, I'm excited. We got to get here. I'll give you an example. 4 months ago, I'm in a coffee shop outside of D.C. I'm sitting with a friend, a female friend. We're having a cup of coffee. A dude walks into the coffee shop. Just a good old rural boy from, it looked like West Virginia. Found out he was from West Virginia. He comes in with another buddy. They're talking about ice. He turns to his buddy and says, you don't mind if I use his language, right? Steve, I fucking love what ice is doing, man. Finally. Love it, man. Love it. Give me my latte. But technically, you ordered the latte. But just two good old boys loving what ice is doing. This was a few months ago. They leave. I turn to the woman next to me, who is of the left, and Jessie, her face is white. She heard the whole thing. And she blurts out, "Oh my God. Joe, did you hear those two racist hillbillies? Oh my God. Did you hear what they said about ICE? They freaking love these masked federal agents on our streets abusing the Constitution. What a bunch of racists." We sat in that coffee shop for 45 minutes. And I did, Jesse, what I'm trying to do with us right now. I said, "Melissa, I'm getting you another coffee. And I'm going to sit my ass here until you try to explain why those two support what ICE is doing without them being racists or bigots, without them hating brown or black people." And I'm telling you, it was a difficult 45 minutes. But we got to the point where she said, finally, okay, our border was broken, and they really like the fact that we're securing our border, and I guess that's why they like ICE. They believe we need to be tougher on law enforcement. I disagree with it, but they believed we needed a crackdown. I don't know if she totally believed that, but she was able to articulate to me why those two dudes, our two hillbillies, good old boys, used to be my voters, why they love ICE but maybe they're not racist. And it was difficult for her to get there. I think this is where we kind of got to get, I believe, and maybe we'll never get there. There are a lot of people in this country, long story, who believe Barack Obama was very divisive. And if we all just think those people must just be racist, or I don't understand how you could think Barack. Harvard, Mr. Educated, Mr. What? How could he be? Jess, if you want to pounce, pounce. I know you are.
And I'm learning. And what you just said, I said to myself, yep, there you go, Jesse. Liberal Democrat.
Boom!
And so you can't see what, but that's not true in a minute. I will explain because I didn't say anything when you were talking about Joe Biden and the Democrats. I know why this country voted for Trump based on issues, and one was the closing of the border. That's something the Democrats have not handled well and didn't do, at least in a satisfactory way, because ICE is not a satisfactory way. But I also think that it is not a matter of Obama himself as a president being divisive as much as the party that he represented versus where the Republicans want to be on issues.
I don't think you understand or appreciate how offensive I, and I think others, feel when you suggest, not very subtly, that we're racist simply because we didn't vote for Obama.
I wasn't saying that.
And that's something that we've heard for how many years, that if you're conservative and you have political beliefs that are just totally the opposite, that you can actually have political beliefs that are totally opposite and you vote accordingly. And this isn't the first time I've heard that type of suggestion, and it's offensive every time I hear it.
I'm sorry, I didn't intend that.
A little bit. Some people don't understand it. I had a person once tell me back when Obama was president, made a statement to me, you can't tell me that people in South Carolina didn't decide not to vote for Obama because he's black, he's African American. And I said, is that the same people that voted for Tim Scott? Overwhelmingly more votes than even Nikki Haley got.
Yeah. Would everybody in this circle agree? Now it's time to find a little common ground. Would everybody in the circle agree that there were people who did not vote for Barack Obama because they didn't want to vote for a black man? Is there anybody who disagrees with that? There are Americans who did that. Do we all agree? Sure. And I don't think anybody's saying that. But it's when we ascribe a motivation to everybody who voted for Trump. They're all a bunch of uneducated bigots. They're all a bunch of hillbillies who don't have a college degree.
Deplorables.
Hillary Clinton, nobody's going to like what I'm going to say, is the smartest politician, let me finish, Barbara, because you're going to like most of what you say. Hillary Clinton is by far, in my lifetime, the smartest public figure I've ever known, met, or read about. She was a lousy candidate. Her husband, Bill, so when I'm out campaigning for Kamala Harris, when I'm out campaigning for Kamala 2 years ago, I did an event with Bill Clinton. And Clinton walks into the room, Helene was there, he's still got the magic. Barbara, he walks up to you. Where you been, Barbara? Oh my God, he's still got it. And when Clinton, it was like I grew up with Reagan and I adored Reagan. Reagan was my political hero. But Bill Clinton, when he walked into a room, man, everybody melted. Hillary despised campaigning. No matter where you stand on Hillary, I think Hillary would have made a very good president, no matter where you stand. Obama, in many ways, was the same way.
Yeah.
Lousy candidate. Remember he went into Iowa and he said, what, they don't have, what was the lettuce? They don't, huh? What, there's no arugula in Iowa? There was something snooty, snobby, and elitist about him. He didn't connect. Trump connects. Democrats need to find candidates who connect. Barbara, did I steal totally your thunder?
Why don't we have a woman as a president?
Can I stop you there? This great, good country that we all love, and all of you who don't want J.D. Vance, any of you who don't want J.D. Vance to be your next president, and I know there are plenty of people in here who'd love J.D. Vance to be their next president. I respect all of that, but every time I talk to a smart Democratic consultant and strategist, they say, Joe, now we're done. We cannot nominate another woman. Do you buy that bullshit?
No.
Talk to me. There are people in this room who buy it.
I consider myself an avowed feminist, and I couldn't care less if the Democrats nominate a woman, a man, someone black, Hispanic. Just nominate a moderate that connects with people.
I consider myself a moderate Democrat, and I certainly voted for Obama. But I would take John McCain now over what we have in the White House and what is being shown from either party.
You can make an argument, and I have, that Barack Obama was divisive. You could make an argument that any president was divisive. I think, and a lot of it, Jess, I would argue, is not his fault, but he was a divisive president. You have to make the same argument that Trump's one divisive SOB, even if you love him. It would be hard not to say he's not divisive. Here's my thought. Here's my question. Tell me if I'm smoking something, Bob. I believe...
It doesn't feel to me like it's just two parties. I mean, at the moment, we've got the two parties, and they each have power, and they balance each other out. And so the divorce analogy kind of makes sense. But I think that as soon as those two groups try to make some common grounds or make some getting together, there'll be some third group that'll bubble up, some other interest. Maybe it's going to be, I don't know, a resurgence of feminism as opposed to the political divergence. But it could be that the community as a whole is just not healthy. We can't be together as a community.
I actually had a question for you.
By the way, you know what? Fist bump. I was supposed to say that at the beginning. Throughout this, if you have a question for me, just ask it. Go.
So with all of your gatherings, we are predominantly of a certain age.
Yes.
So what about the 20s and 30s, and what are they saying to all of this? I mean, I actually have a 28-year-old, so I know what she's saying about all of it, but what is their consensus? What's the next, how are we going to go forward?
What are you going to do?
I have a question.
I want to answer.
Okay, let me answer this, because this is really important. And we can spend more time on this. I talk on college campuses a lot. I love talking to young people because I love slapping them upside the head. In a nutshell, young Americans. I'm done watching my language. Young Americans think we're fucked. They think both parties suck. They, blow it all up, Joe. Like I'll go into a classroom of young people and I'll say, Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy and the rule of law, and they will roll their eyes and shake their head.
They don't know what it is.
Joe Biden was 110 years old. Joe, they all suck.
Yep.
So they just think the whole thing's broken. There is a huge gathering of young people, though, that is responding to what Trump's doing, and they're getting activated.
Yeah. So there's the college graduate, but what about the 20 and 30-year-olds? Ones who are out there looking for jobs, doing their thing.
Where
are they?
They've generally checked out of this stuff, and they're focused on their lives, and they think it's all just a bunch of noise I don't need to pay attention to. Yeah, hold on, Helene. Yeah, Trump's crazy, and here's the other thing. And I get this everywhere I go. Young guys in this country, white, black, and brown, they think Trump's hilarious.
Yeah.
But generally, they've checked out and it's broken, and you boomers, you guys all fucked this thing
And
up.
are they not
Helene?
voting?
Howard University in October, you spoke at Howard University. Remember the
Primarily a
response?
black audience.
It was right before the No Kings Movement event, and maybe 2 out of 70 were planning to go. Maybe 2 even.
Yeah,
knew
this
about
was
it.
a classroom full of 70 black college kids, and
And they also, when you asked about having a female president, why did Kamala not get elected and why did she lose the youth vote? They thought it had nothing to do with her race, it had to do with her being a woman. And so many of the young black females in the classroom were like, a women can't just.
yeah,
get elected. It was
these,
fascinating.
all these young black students said Kamala didn't win because she's a woman, not because she's biracial.
Correct.
Are they voting?
Huh?
That's my question. Are they voting?
Most of them said they voted. But they don't do anything beyond voting. But these are kids in college. Barbara, you had something.
To go back to your metaphor.
Yeah. Let's go back to my divorce. Barbara,
Sorry.
we're done. We're done. You've been wonderful, but can we break up? I'm done already.
Being a therapist,
Oh, talk to me.
here's the key. Both of them,
Oh my God, we have a therapist in the room.
Wait.
Go.
they both have to want
Yeah.
to heal it and mend it and repair it. If they're not in it together,
Yeah.
So my expert, are we there? They're not there yet.
I don't think we're there yet.
With-
I don't
Yes, they are.
hear enough people wanting to come together because there's so much hate.
I'll go back to where I started, which was our country for the last 80 years has been led down the path of information control that leads to trauma-based mind control. And until we face that and realize it and get away from what the mass media has been feeding us,
How do we do that?
somebody said it earlier, start looking at independent sources and use your common sense and intelligence. Does this sound right? Does it feel right? Is it right? And balance
That's a
it.
tall order.
It's a tall order. I think we have the ability to do that if we have the courage to do it. It takes work, and I think we're too lazy, quite frankly.
Are we on the verge of a divorce? And we have to decide if we want therapy. And Barbara's saying the country needs to want therapy. I've been married 6 times now? No, Helena's my last. But yeah, I know we've gone through therapy. You gotta want to go.
Well, first of all, I have not been divorced, and I've been married almost 56 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think something unusual may happen, that some politicians are going to be smart enough to realize if they want to shoe in the win, they're going to have to pull a lot from the other party. And we've been so close in so many elections lately, somebody smart enough to know how to pull a lot of votes from the other party is going to take over. And that would be good and hopefully reduce the divisiveness.
Jump in.
On the verge of a divorce, a very dangerous one. I am concerned that our divisiveness and our lack of courage or interest in seeking a common ground, it might very well sink us. We are looking at a not unlikely scenario. Should Trump decide that he's going to, quote unquote, nationalize the primaries, the elections, go back and just review what happened in 1860. I think it's a very dangerous thing. And if anybody's not feeling the same way, I maintain you're not paying attention.
Am I smoking something? Do you guys feel like, just because I'm in it every day and I feel like we're on the verge of a divorce, are we not really that far? Are we that far? Who wants to weigh in on that? By the way, we're not all kids. So like, think of your kids and your grandkids. What kind of country are they going to live in? Are they going to live in a country?
One thing we haven't touched on in discussion is the money.
Talk.
And
Talk.
And I mean, like, I'm not talking about the $50 contributions, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the Mark Cuban, the Elon Musk. You know, we had the situation in, was it Pennsylvania, where he was giving away millions to get people to go register. Being able to, you know, you've been a candidate. You know, if you got somebody that's gonna write you a check for $3 billion, you can buy whatever the media, you know, you want to get your message across. If you run against another candidate who's not the chosen one, even though may be popular with the people, it's a tough battle.
So, my friend says money in politics is a big problem. I disagree 100,000,000%, but that's just me, but I love that perspective.
Why?
I'm gonna get to it, but I wanna hear somebody, is there someone who respectfully disagrees with my friend? Who doesn't believe money in politics is the problem?
De Tocqueville had a line after he made his visit to us. Said the republic will be fine until the day that the Congress finds out how to bribe the people with their own money. We have been in debt and growing debt in this nation since 1790. Okay, and most of it is buying stuff in the way of votes. No contributor has been a bigger contributor than the United States government itself.
Let me answer you. And I'll answer you with if I were king of the world, this would be my...
Clarify one thing.
Go.
I don't know if money's necessarily
And by the way,
a problem, but it's a dynamic that we didn't have at this level 15 years ago.
completely agree with that. Oh, actually, right here. Raise something with him.
Oh, come on. Look at the, what's his name? William McKinley.
You're going back to William McKinley.
Yeah, right. I mean, this goes way, way, way back in our history. I mean, William McKinley ran against William Jennings Bryan. There was a question of whether we should be on a gold standard or a gold and silver standard. They wanted to do gold at like 15.988 to 1 to silver. And McKinley spent about 15 times what Bryant did, and he won. So there was a lot of money. There was a lot of money in the last election on both sides.
If I were king of the world tomorrow, here would be my campaign finance reform. Get rid of all contribution limits.
Yes.
Tomorrow, get rid of all contribution limits and have immediate disclosure. I can't stand Elon Musk, but if Elon Musk loved me and I liked him, and I'm running for Congress again, and Elon Musk wants to write me a $10 million check, I think Elon should have the right to do it. I should have the right to take it. But then every voter in my district the next day should know that this guy, Elon Musk, gave Joe Walsh $10 million. And then the voters, if that pisses them off, don't vote for Joe Walsh. If we had instant disclosure, now, that'll never happen. I'm alone on that. But I think that would put it on us, the American people, to be more engaged, pay more attention. And if you don't like who's giving your candidate money, don't vote for that candidate. It's on us. That'll never happen.
The question is, for me, what is that money buying now versus McKinley's time? I think in McKinley's time, it bought votes directly, walking around money that you would give to the voters in some way. But now it buys media and all of these tools of convincing, and we're vulnerable to it. That's all it takes, is to be able to spend enough money to drum the same message on political ads over and over again, and that seems to win elections.
But how?
Doesn't that say anything about us?
It says a lot. But how do you stop that? What do you want government to do about that?
I want them to repeal Citizens United.
That's one answer. I disagree, but that's one answer. But like right now, if Elon Musk wanted to run for the United States Senate, and put a gazillion dollars into it of his own money, doesn't he have a right to do that? Sure. And if you don't like that, then just don't vote for him. I wouldn't.
Doesn't that give him more power though, because he's a billionaire and has the ability to do that? I can't do that for myself.
Answer that question. That's a fair question. Answer that question.
Michael Bloomberg,
Yeah.
billionaire,
Billionaire on the left.
unsuccessful candidate, and main issues he's pushed have not been successful. So again, it comes down to.
There's big money on both sides.
Yeah.
Comes down to us. Are we gonna be informed enough and active enough and talk to our friends and say, this is why we think this guy should or shouldn't be elected, or this policy shouldn't go into effect? Can I add one more thing to
You're rolling.
your proposal?
Yes.
After Elon gives you the 10 million, if you are in fact elected, when Elon says, I want you to vote X.
You know what I'd tell Elon? Get
That's
That's
fine.
why he's
I
never
would.
going to do that.
Yeah.
But I would say that you as a candidate, you as the elected official now have to put that out publicly so that we're aware of it.
Amen. I can say this as a former member of Congress. We need to elect better people. Go.
And you will not say no, because you want to be reelected.
Well, to be a great point.
Not you personally, but.
No. I would say no. Most wouldn't.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. That comes to I would argue, that's because we need to elect a better person, a better quality person. But you're right. Realistically, you're right.
What do you do for contributions from unions, which go almost like 95% to the Democratic Party, even though the unions are not 95% Democrats? What do you do about people who start organizations like, People for Great America, or, People for Helping the Poor, which are all, 5 guys with a lot of money who are backing some guy because they want him to do something when he gets elected? You're talking about individual contributions, but what about?
I'm talking anything.
What about anything? Okay, but what do you do? How about if I form a pact with a bunch of ex-Nazis, and we say we're Americans saving America? How do you get that across?
Is there anybody who would be opposed? What's your first name?
Tim.
Tim and a bunch of guys forming a pact, Nazis for patriotic American candidates. Does he have a right to do that?
He has a right.
Yes.
I don't know how successful that
Right,
would be.
right, exactly.
But yeah, he's got a right to do it. But see, this is the question. And this is a legit question. This is the biggest stab at the heart of my policy. Elon does have, the rich do have a hell of a lot. He's got more influence than my gal here does. What do you do about that? What do you do about it? Do you do anything about that?
Can't do anything.
No.
But don't they want they want a return for the money that they're giving? He wants something from you.
You are completely right. Elon writes me a 10 million. Can we all do me a favor? Can we take Elon out of the equation?
Yes.
I'm a big gun guy. I'm a big gun rights guy. Let's say a billionaire who's a big gun rights guy wants to write me a $10 billion check. He would give me that check, hoping I'll do something for him on guns. But understand, it goes both ways. He's giving me that check because he knows I'm where he is on guns.
Right.
But, again, this is a great point. I can tell you as a former congressman, most of my former colleagues, Republican and Democrat, they tend to follow the money. That's why it didn't last very long. They tend to follow the money. And so the wealthy now do have an undue influence. I would argue part of it is because of the limits. When I was in Congress, because I was not the richest member of Congress, I had to spend way too much time dialing for dollars. But some multimillionaire who was a member of Congress, they didn't have to raise money. So the limits produced an unfair advantage to a guy like me who was poor. But I'm having a hard time wrestling with your issue and yours. Because most politicians today would follow the money and that would impact how they vote. Get back to this. Is there anybody in the room who doesn't believe we are a nation on the verge of a divorce and we've got to decide if we want to go through therapy? Like we're a nation that's got to do what we're doing here. And it's hard, and sometimes it sucks, and it can get uncomfortable, and we point fingers at each other. And Barbara may be right, maybe we're not ready for that, but do you agree with me that we're there, or do you not agree with that? You don't think we are?
No.
I want to live your life.
No, you don't want to live my life. I don't. Lincoln gets elected, and immediately before he gets here in March before he gets to DC in March, but you got about 6 or 7 states have already left the Union. This is a brand new party that's just been founded. There's too many instances. Money, again, the great bribery I see is Congress of the voters. Anybody comes and runs on, I want to double your Social Security, is going to get a hell of a lot of votes. Okay?
Because you all are kind of pissing me off a little bit, like I want a real honest answer, this is another lightning round, 30 seconds. Are we on the verge of a divorce or not? Do you feel like this country you love is there, yes or no?
Yes.
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 No.
No, we can't divorce.
Knew he wouldn't take long.
Yes.
Don't you abstain.
No abstain.
No, but I want more than one word.
Give it to me.
I think I in my special little brain think that we as a people we are inherently alike. And it's going to come that we're going to all realize that the current administration has twisted our government and taken away what made us us.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Yes or no, on the verge of a divorce? Because she gave that long answer, you
Yes,
are
you don't
limited
get
to yes or no.
Yes.
Yes or no, my friend?
For being led down that path.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
No. Yes.
Yes, and sooner than we think.
So what do we do? Go. Man, I'm gonna eat like a cowboy tonight. What do we do?
Our former Congressman Joe Cunningham's trying to create a third party. If we could have a third party that represented 75% of the people that define themselves as independents, then perhaps people wouldn't feel so alienated from government, and you would have more moderate voices appealing to most of the country.
For the first time in American history, by far, independents outweigh Republicans and Democrats. For the first time in American history, independents represent more than 50% of the country. My Democratic friend, ever possible to get out of this two-party duopoly we're in? Tell her, it's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible because of the money. Money has a lot to do with it. But I will say, I'm encouraged by what's happening at the state level.
Explain.
Well, you're getting Democratic governors, not necessarily because they're elected because they're Democrats, but because of the anti-Trump movement. And you're getting, more state representatives. You see what's going on in Texas.
Yeah.
Places like that have been Republican strongholds. But one fear I have is the political violence. That's how, if somebody gets a stronghold, you've got the Proud Boys and the Fringe, and to me that could lead to sooner than later the divorce.
Well, and my fear is because we've always seen more violence on the right. We're seeing increasing levels of violence on the left. So my fear is it's going to be coming from both sides. What do we do? My therapist? You gave me your answer. You got to both want it, and you're saying we're not there yet. So what does
I think that somebody like Steve Bannon in Project 2025 says to me, we're not there.
Is the left there yet when it comes to wanting to go through therapy? Because I can tell you, Barbara.
No.
No, I can tell you, before you answer that, I know you gave me the right answer, man, this is hard to do.
Yeah.
Like every 2 weeks I do this, and man, we have uncomfortable conversations, and it's hard to get hardcore MAGA folk out here, but you know what? It's really hard to get hardcore lefties out here too. Joe, they're fucking lost. I don't want to deal with them. Man, they're gone. They're irretrievable. And then I hear MAGA, left's trying to destroy my country. I can sit down with them.
I mean, at a basic level, we need to just to be able to have the respect and courage to talk openly about it and still respect one another and continue to go forward. You may all vote on ideological, lofty principles. Sometimes I just vote economically. Who is espousing the best economic policy, I think, for the country or for me?
Yeah.
And that's the way I vote. So.
And that's why a lot of people voted for him twice, completely agreed.
And so that's why I said the lesser of two evils. I think it started way before Trump in the sense of a twisting. To be honest, I mean, I don't know all the facts and figures, you guys do sometimes, but I came from a very democratic family, and then I went to college and I studied and I saw things differently. And from there.
Then you bought a home, you started making some money, you really saw things differently. Absolutely, I get it, totally get it.
And studied other things, you know,
Yeah.
economics, finance, you know, accounting, statistics, etc. And I was like, you know, this is important, and what's going to keep a stable economy? And I mean, that's still, so that's, I'm just saying, I vote on, not just like, you know, Democrat, Republican, ideologically. I'm much more financially driven.
And so many Democrats tell me they don't understand that, that people could vote like that, but my God, he lies every time he opens his mouth. But
Well,
I don't care,
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
It's just for me, every politician is gonna lie about something. And so I have to say, who do I think is gonna carry through with most of the things that I agree with? That's all I think.
Out of left field, good thing, bad thing that we attacked Iran last night. Good thing, bad thing. Leni, give me a heads up how we're doing time. We're here till 8:30.
No, it's 10 to 6.
Oh, it's 10 to 6. Okay, 5 more minutes. Okay, good thing, bad thing. Iran.
I think it's a bad thing.
Bad thing.
Bad.
Bad. Bad?
Ambivalent.
Yeah. I think it's only bad because Trump is leading it. If someone else
Well, that's
were
it. That's
doing
an
it, I would
interesting
feel
answer.
better
I
about
think
it.
that's, yeah.
I don't have to ask you.
No, you're wrong. I think it's a
Necessary
good
good.
thing.
Can we just stop?
What did she say?
Stop the cameras! Stop the mic! You see what I just did there?
Yes.
Slap me. I am guilty.
I see, yeah.
No! What a perfect real life example! I'm just doing this thing, Barbara. And I looked at Barbara. I know what she's going to say. Of course it's a bad idea. Let's go here. Not listening.
You have to know your constituents.
I have to do that, and I have to listen to everybody when I ask them a question. I assumed I knew the answer. A good thing? Later, I want to know why. Thank you.
Good thing.
Good thing.
Necessary thing.
Necessary thing.
I agree with him.
Good.
Depends on the outcome.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Bad thing.
Fair.
Call me Pollyanna-ish. I think the only way we get off this road we're on, of us just hating the people we disagree with, is to do this. The other thing I heard when I was out campaigning for Kamala Harris every day in every battleground state was everybody, Republican. By the way, this is a really cool habit. I'm liking this. Every Republican Democrat I talk to. The other thing they all told me is, Joe, we don't sit down and have face-to-face conversations anymore. We're on our phones. Yeah, we don't have face-to-face conversations. That's what got me thinking after the election that this is what we got to do. Because, and I'm not looking to find common ground. I'm looking just to understand each other, even though I disagree with you, whatever. I just want to know why, because if I understand why you think the way you do, I'm less likely to hate you. Therapist?
I have a question for you.
Oh my God. What?
What are you seeing is accomplished by this kind of
That's
discussion.
a good one.
Can you do me one favor? I'm losing my hearing, and I'm also kind of losing my mind a little bit as I'm getting older. I'm going to forget that, and I want you to remind me, because that's the last thing I'm going to answer, and I really want to answer that. Because this takes courage. And what you, what you and Jesse did 25 minutes ago, that takes courage to do. And in every conversation I've had, there are moments where things get heated and spill my water, and we get emotional, and we get to that point, and then we pause and we try to listen and move back down a little bit. People are afraid to do this. Think about this, guys. I go to bed every night thinking about this. Talk about how messed up we are. The most radical thing you can do in America today is sit down and have a conversation with somebody you disagree with. Fuck! That's like the most radical thing you can do. What does that say about where we are? But so the whole point is, the impact is, we put this content out so that people can see what we did. That we're having conversations with people we disagree with. And the hope is, this will kind of, sprout little brush fires around the country, people doing it. I mean, I'd love to do this everywhere, every day, and reach every American. Thank God for social media that we all hate. Thank God for social media, because we can use it to reach millions. That's what we're doing with the conversation, to try to model how to do this, period. And get others to have face-to-face conversations.